Hey guys, my name is Ben and I decided to make a video about the next Battlefield Bad Company game. I would like to share my wishes and thoughts about this game, and the developers probably also try to pay attention to desires, so if there is a teeny tiny chance that one of those people watch this, it has been already worth it. You may have noticed that I am not a native English speaker, but I guess that's fine. I'm trying to be as clear as possible and hopefully you will understand what I'm trying to say. By the way, the background footage that you're watching is me playing with Battlefield 1 on PlayStation 4. So there have been many guesses about the release date of the next Bad Company, which makes sense because Bad Company 2 was awesome, so it is obvious, at least to me, that many people anticipate another Bad Company title. There's this guy on YouTube called AlmightyDaq who leaked tons of information about Battlefield 1 back then, and he recently made a few videos about the next Battlefield games as well. Actually, yeah, games, because he said that Bad Company 3 is only gonna come in 2019, because this year, in 2018, a World War II theme Battlefield is going to come. Of course, it's just a speculation, and I really hope he's wrong, because this does not make any sense to me. If I had to decide, I would bring Bad Company 3 first, and then maybe one, but more like 2 years later, the World War II theme Battlefield. I think after the Battlefield 1, it would be a little bit boring to move on to World War II theme Battlefield. So even though his predictions about Battlefield 1 was true and most importantly extremely accurate, and now it's not the case, they are more like broad assumptions, so there is a chance that this time he only knows just as much as me or you do, basically nothing. But whatever the truth is, let's just pretend that DICE will watch this video, read the comments, and we use all these ideas to create the upcoming Battlefield Bad Company. So what would you include in Bad Company 3? What would make it special? For me, Bad Company 2 was awesome, and probably it was one of the best Battlefield games. And the thing is that back in 2010, when Bad Company 2 came out, I was a member of the PC master race, so I have very little experience with the console versions, and I left PC and bought a PS4 about 3 years ago. But I think nowadays there is smaller difference between the PC and the console versions than it was at the time of the PS3 and the Xbox 360 era, so I don't think that matters anymore. If I had to wish, first of all, I would definitely ask for great maps. The success of Bad Company 2 was partly because it had awesome maps. I still remember playing on Arica Harbor, on Valparaiso, on Atacama Desert, or on Port Valdez. And probably the reason for that is because they were more game mode specific maps. Some of them were designed for Conquest, while the others rather for Rush. So personally, for me, it would not be a big deal if there were game mode specific maps again, because you just cannot satisfy both game modes 100%. For Rush mode, it's better to have a linear map design, while for Conquest, in my opinion, it is a lot better to have a more wider shape design. I also really love the destruction we had in Bad Company 2, that you could basically demolish every single building, or at least most of them. And even though Levolution sounds and looks fancy, but honestly I can count on one hand on which maps it was actually a game changer. Maybe on Siege of Shanghai was the most relevant one, but that actually that was already shown in the Battlefield 4 beta, so I was a little bit disappointed when the game came out, and you didn't see such huge evolution on the other maps. Furthermore, one of the advantages of Bad Company 2 was, at least in my opinion, the free maps. I know there wasn't any Battlefield Premium or Premium Pass, and now EA basically charges you again for some additional maps. But the thing is that this divides the players because not many people buy Premium. And for now, in the beginning of 2018, if you want to play Battlefield 4, you can basically only play on the vanilla maps and not the maps of the DLCs, because actually very few or maybe none of the people played those maps. So even though both the premium for Battlefield 3, 4, Battlefield 1 as well, I have to tell that sometimes I felt that some of the maps were just made on command and not enough time was put into it. Once I pay for something, at least I expect it to be worth it. Maybe less would be more in this case, or they should charge less for the premium. Another thing is the competitiveness. Now, Battlefield 1 is not played as an esport game as far as I know. I believe this could be changed by having a more infantry-based game. I know Battlefield has always been about vehicles, but I think the Bad Company's spin-off games can afford to focus more on infantry and a little less on vehicles. On top of these, of course, Bad Company 3 should include all those features that were successfully implemented in the recent Battlefield games, such as the ability to play with more than 32 players. I have to admit that at some maps, 64 players are just too many. In my opinion, 48 or maybe 56 would be the sweet spot if the maps are not that huge. And this would also prevent frame rate drops, especially on consoles, because 64 players are heavily CPU demanding, and while on PC you can always buy a more powerful CPU, we all know that the CPUs are the bottleneck even for both PS4 Pro and Xbox One X, and you cannot do anything about that. Also, the prevention of spawn killing is kinda solved in Battlefield 1, and I'm not talking only about the base rape, but for instance that I'm not allowed to spawn on squad mates while they are under fire. I think it's a useful feature. In addition to that, I think the reviving mechanism has developed positively as well. It's really good to have the option to decide to wake up or not while you are being revived. Also, it was annoying when you kept requesting orders from your squad leader, but he didn't do a damn thing. This issue is solved in Battlefield 1 by replacing the AFK squad leaders by one of the other squad members, and I really hope this feature remains in the upcoming Battlefield games as well. Last but not least, I don't know what they've done to the team balancing algorithm, but to me it seems to be better in Battlefield 1 than it was in the previous games. I tend to play a lot more head-to-head or toe-to-toe match. I don't know which expression is the correct. While in Bad Company 2 it happened a lot that for numerous rounds one or the other team dominated the game, and basically it wasn't fun, not just for the weaker team, but neither for the dominating team. Or at least I did not enjoy it because it was boring. So if all this stuff that I've just mentioned were put in the new Battlefield Bad Company, probably it would be an instant get for me, and I guess for many other players as well. But to make this a little bit more interactive, I am really curious about your thoughts as well. So what do you think of these suggestions? What else would you put in the game that I haven't mentioned, or what would you remove? Please tell your opinion in the comment section below. Thank you very much for your attention. If you liked this video, please hit the thumbs up. It helps me a lot. If you didn't, then thumbs down. Subscribe if you haven't already, and see you in the next video.
I can patch you wounds.